What up, what up, what up, what up, beautiful people? You hear that theme music, you see these beautiful faces. We are the Let's Get Canceled podcast. I'm your boy, Tommy with an H. I'm the voice of the people. I speak for y'all.
Yo, I'm your boy, Big Tech Dog. I'm your favorite friendly, lovable loudmouth. This is how we do it, man. It's the Let's Get Canceled podcast. So, yo, cousin.
What up, cousin?
You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get canceled.
Let's get canceled. All right, so on tonight's episode, we catching y'all in here tonight. On tonight's episode, we had a guest come on early in the week on Wednesday. So we got an interview discussing some things that went on at FAMU. I know you may know they lost a coach, had to do a coaching hire. They had some drama going on with the bowling team. So we brought someone in who's in the know over there at FAMU to give us a little bit of insight into that. We had some comments from our previous episode. So
yeah, we did.
The show, we're going to address that. We got a little for our sprinkle with game conversation that we're going to have, and then little things that we're going to give to y'all. We're going to address that comment, and then we're going to sprinkle a little game on you guys. But to start the show I think it was last week sometime. Y'all know Keith Lee. If you don't know Keith Lee, he goes around. He's a food critic. So Keith Lee had an incident with Sweetly Seasoned, where he told this lady to do with his generous gift.
Very clearly told her. Very clear
to the trained eye, maybe, but clearly not to her. But he gave her some direction, and she refused. So we're gonna start the show today. We're gonna start the show with a little bit of a discussion on that situation and the broader situation of what that actually means. So, cuz I'm gonna bring it to you, and I'm just gonna ask you straight up. I'm asking you straight up. What Keith Lee told this lady to do, was it clear?
It was extremely clear. It was extreme. So let me tell you, I have looked at these videos from all angles, right? So I've been able to see the same section of him talking at the food truck window about the money, from standing right beside him and from inside the truck facing him. I've seen these angles. Now, here's the problem. What this man said very clearly was, hey, I want to give the barber $1,000 and to give free haircuts. I want to give the barber $1,000 to give free haircuts, and I want to give you $1,000 for braiding hair. That's what he said. Then he looked at the food truck owner lady and said, and here's $2,000 for you. Now, whatever you thought he said to do with the rest of the money, whether you thought he meant the dude was supposed to stay and do haircut, whatever it was, he was very specific with what he was giving you. That's where I'm talking about. So let's go ahead, just in case somebody's watching and don't understand. What happened was in Texas, right? Houston, I believe it was.
Yeah, Houston or Dallas. I can't exactly remember.
Somewhere in Texas.
Somewhere in Texas.
Keith Lee was in town. So there was a young lady who has I guess a pretty decent following online on TikTok, and she did a whole lot of promotions trying to get Keith Lee to come to this food truck because she's friends with the owner's son. She's friends with the owner's son. Now, there was some confusion as to whether she worked there part-time, whether she just volunteered to help her out, whether this was something that was orchestrated by her and the son, whatever it was. They did a whole lot of stuff online trying to get Keith Lee to come to this food truck. Right. Keith Lee and his family saw this, and they indeed did come to the food truck. When they arrived, they see a young man who was cutting hair there and a young lady who was braiding hair, and then there's this food truck. So he did what he always does. He sat down, he ate in his car, did his review. Him and his wife did the review, blah, 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 blah. Overall, they were very satisfied and happy with the food and the quality of the food. Yes. When it was all over with, Keith Lee goes to the window and says he wants to give $4,000. He wanted to give $1,000 for the dude cutting hair, $1,000 for the braider, and $2,000 for the food truck. Yes. Come to find out, the lady who owned the food truck just decided she wasn't giving them none of that money. She was like,
Sweetly
"That's this."
Season said no. She said
Sweetly
they
Season
did
said
not
no.
deserve it.
Nope, they don't deserve it. And so when she said that, the girl who did the promotion to try and get Keith Lee there said, "You can keep my 1,000, but my little brother, that was who was the barber, my
Right.
brother, blah 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 blah." Now the lady, to her credit, no, not really to her credit, she's a terrible human being. But what she did was she said, "Well, they weren't with me. They don't work for me. They were just there because my son asked them to come, blah, 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 blah." So the way she was talking, she was under the impression that Keith Lee assumed that they were with her, and they were not. Now, all of that being said, she decided what she told the girl was, I'm going to give my son $1,000 and he can dispense that any way he wants. That ain't what that nigga said to do with that money. That ain't what he said to do with that money, bro. Like, real talk, that is not what he said. He was very clear. Where they got misconstrued, and I'm going to let you jump in here, where they got misconstrued was at the end of it, he said, because he was putting the $4,000 on his card, on his on the POS system, so it was tapped. And he said, so I'm just going to put it all on here, and you can divvy it up as you see fit. That's where they held on to that and said, well, that means that I can give out how much I want to whoever I want to. You can go ahead and say something, because I got more, and I
was just going to say, you've broken this down greatly, and where it comes to the part where they got it all fucked up, I don't understand how they got it all fucked up. That's what I'm getting to. When I say give 8,000 here, give 8,000 here, but I'm putting it all here and you can divvy it how you want to. You can't just forget about my initial statement of give 8,000 here and give 8,000 here. That means that this money, that 1,000 goes to the barber, that 1,000 goes to the braider. Right. I don't care if I said divvy it up how you want to, that to me, if I say give 1,000 but divvy it up how you want to, that means, hey, you can give him fives, you can give him tens, you can give him quarters, but get that nigga $1,000. Right. His braider gets $1,000. To me, divvy it up how you want to, and I'm thinking he meant again, if it's me, I'm gonna say I'm just gonna get this nigga 1,000 ones, because fuck that nigga, he ain't even supposed to be here. He ain't doing nothing. He doesn't work for me. And she actually came out there and said, he doesn't work for me. This girl doesn't work for me. She shouldn't even be here, even though she's the one that got Keith Lee. Let's be real. That was her. It was her promotion who did it. So for you to say they don't deserve anything because you came here to help Sweetly Seasoned, ma'am, we just got Sweetly Seasoned $2,000. We just got you $2,000 that you were not going to make today, regardless of the other $2,000 that you decided to keep from us. We got you $2,000, so we were here for Sweetly Seasoned. But for him to say divvy it up how you want to, he may have meant Cash App or Zelle or whatever else you use to disperse funds.
But hey, that's what the problem was. That's where Keith Lee responded.
Yeah, you're right.
He put out a video talking about this, and he was like, there are some things that I think are being misunderstood and purposely being misunderstood. Like, he was like, it ain't got nothing, the rest of the stuff ain't got nothing to do with me. He said, but he was very specific. He said he knew, because they were trying to say, oh, Keith Lee gave him $1,000 because he thought he was giving them free haircuts, and he wasn't. He was charging people for haircuts. Keith Lee's response was, I knew they were charging $40 a haircut. Like, he knew that. Like, so he was like, me and my family have been watching this on live all day. Right. And so he said right then, what he meant when he said divvy it up as you see fit was, I know that I'm doing it on the POS system, so I know the money's not going to clear right now, but when it does clear, however you send it, Zelle, Cash App, whatever, any other method.
Because the barber was from Louisiana, I believe.
Okay.
So with this barber being from out of town, we already know you're not going to be able to just give him cash in hand, since he's not going to be here. He's not from here.
Right.
But there is no way that this lady and her son thought that this man was saying keep everything, when he specifically said I need you to give this money to him and to her.
This is greed at its finest. This is
And,
greed
and,
at
and,
its
and
finest.
that's where I really want to take this conversation. Again, we're just using Sweetly Seasoned as a jump off point, but this just lets me know how when someone tries to bless you and your greed overtakes you, and for something that could have been so beneficial to you, you
Right.
are able to cut off your own nose, spite your face. You are here killing your future for $2 grand.
Right.
There is no way that $2 grand is worth damaging that Keith Lee effect, because the Keith Lee effect here works both ways.
Oh
And
yeah.
what you have just done was turn that positive that the Keith Lee effect would have had, because he gave you a grand review of your business and your product. So you take this grand review that he gave you, and you completely turned it into something that has ruined your business moving forward, because now people see you as a crook. They don't see you as viable. And what kind of person does that?
Bro, she has taken someone who is notoriously tough as a food critic,
Yes.
notoriously tough, and he gave you great reviews, and you've
Great.
taken all of that positive and turned it against you because you know what else is great online? Niggas. When niggas
Ooh.
feel like they've been
Ooh.
mistreated, ooh boy, they came out, bruh. Did you see the joint where she did the video from the car? But she was like,
Yeah.
"Well, I closed down early today because
Because
I mean,
nobody showed up.
nobody came." But
The,
here's the
the,
thing.
the, the
Let me tell you how
$75
bad.
you could have made today is now zero.
Right, right. So you got your $4,000. You got $4,000 for one day. That's cool. That's extremely short sighted. Extremely short sighted.
Terribly.
And this is my problem with some. This is my problem with some people. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the problem is that we look at today and what we can make and what we can get done today, and we will screw over everybody around to make the most we can today. And we
Right.
forget that we got to live tomorrow, or we got to live next
Exactly.
week, or we got to live next year. This very well, and I don't wish this on anybody, like especially any black people. I don't wish any failure in business on any black people ever.
Right.
This could very well destroy her business because she was
Yeah.
already struggling. That
Yeah.
was the whole point. She was already struggling, and
And I
she
think,
she just threw it away.
yeah, that for $4,000,
Just
the
dumb.
way that once you see him show up, he gives you money to, and apparently he gave her money to give away free food for the rest of the day. And the girl who was on the truck said she gave away 3 additional meals for the free, and then went back to charging.
Right.
Now that is alleged, because she came back on and said she stayed open well past her closing time to give away free meals.
Right.
So that's neither here nor there in the grand scheme of it, because that $2,000 that you kept, you possibly could have made the remainder of that week. You could have made that the next few days.
If
And,
not the next day. Like,
yeah,
let's be real. Like, he went up to that window and was like, "Hey, I'm not trying to be funny." He said, "I don't know, but you might want to get some more people in this kitchen because it'll get
because
crazy
she's the
around
only
here."
one in there working. Yes.
Right. And he even said that on the thing. He was like, "Yo, if you go up there, be patient because she's the only one cooking. She's the only
Right.
one working." Like, and I mean, I people said a whole lot about Keith Lee, and I don't know the man like that. Like, he's a former MMA fighter.
Right.
I don't remember him from that at all.
At all.
Honestly, when he popped on my radar was with the whole joint that happened in Atlanta. I think
And now, yeah.
that's when he really popped on my radar. Other people knew who it was, but he dropped on my radar then.
Yeah. This
And
nigga's got damn near 10 million followers now. So
right,
yeah.
and it's
So
getting bananas. All right, let me tell you how bananas it got. So there's another food truck named Seasoned Street Food. That
yes.
these are some white people who don't know who Keith Lee is, who don't know who Sweetly Seasoned is. They caught strays. He was like, as a matter of fact, he says the first call of the day was he said something's up. Let me see exactly what it said. because it was hilarious the way he explained it. Was like, nigga, I don't know no Keith Lee.
Because like you said, you know who's notorious on the internet? Niggas.
Niggas, niggas.
Niggas. And niggas are gonna find you. Even if they don't find you, they're gonna find somebody that look like you, and we gonna act the ass.
He said he got an angry phone call from a stranger. The man on the other end of the phone called him a crooked, lying thief. He said that was the first call of the day, and it was 350 of those calls throughout the day. Like, to the point where he's like, his wife's name's Amy, right? He said, Amy, something's up. My phone is ringing off the hook. I keep hearing Keith Lee. And he's like, I don't know no Keith Lee. So, and this is not just here. That wasn't just in Texas. He said he was getting people from the Virgin Islands, the Caribbean, Dubai, the UK, Australia, everywhere.
The Keith Lee effect, bro.
They had to shut down their rating went from, what were they at, like five stars?
Yeah, they were at 5. Ended up
down to 3.
2.
Was it 2? Did they get all the way down to 2?
They got down to at least to like 2. I know Sweetly Season went ahead and put permanently closed on their Google page. They put
rough.
Permanently closed the few days after that. And it's just one of those things with Black business.
Yeah.
That we need to try and figure out. And going back to those people who were impacted without it even being their fault. The girl Sherelle contacted them when she found out about it. The girl who was doing the post for Sweetly Season, she found out about it. She contacted them. She went down there, got her followers to donate and that sort of thing, and take down some of their negative reviews and actually and help those people out for a day. So that I can applaud, because we understand, like you said, you caught some strays here. That wasn't the point. We didn't mean to do that. We know a lot of our people will hear a name and not hear it clearly, but we coming anyway. We jumping out the windows any damn way. So she did a good thing there. But as far as the Black businesses go, when Keith Lee shows up, he doesn't show up in person a lot of times. He sends his family in there as a representative of him, and he gets the feedback from them. So he doesn't get any different treatment. Right. And what we fail to realize is we never know who we are entertaining when we pull some of the bullshit that we pull with our people.
And that's part of the problem. Bad business. Yeah. We've got this mentality of, I've got to win, and in order for me to win, everybody else has to lose. And that's not necessarily true. All right. If you and I are bidding or competing for the same job, right? If we're competing for the same job, me and you, and there's one position, I still don't have to destroy you in order to get that position. What should happen is my work ethic and my history should be enough to get me to the point where it's like, you know what? This dude is the right one for the job. I don't have to destroy you to get that. Where they do that at?
At all. And in business, I don't have to. I should treat everybody the same.
Right.
And I think what goes on with a lot of these restaurants and that sort of, and a lot of these businesses, is that if you don't have a name that can impact me in a positive way, I don't have to treat you as well. And if we can get to where we can treat everyone equally, we won't have a lot of the problems that we have right now. And she definitely wouldn't have some of the problems that she has. But just being greedy and feeling like I can short this person, I can give this person bad service, I can give this person bad product, whatever it may be, because you just don't care. It's just all about getting the dollar. And if it's all about getting the dollar, then you may be in the wrong business. Because when we spoke about this before, I told you it's like the dope game. Mm-hmm. And if I'm going to give you bad service because I'm all you got, once you're able to get something else, first of all, you're not coming back to me. And then you're going to tell these other people who may be potential customers, don't go there. Right. Don't go over there because he's not doing good business. So now all of a sudden I'm over here holding on to some weight that I need to get off. So now I'm trying to go above and beyond. And people, even at that particular point, once your name is dirt, I'm not coming back. I don't care how far above and beyond you go. Once your name is dirt, hey, bro, nah, I'm good on that. I'll go pay more elsewhere to be treated properly.
And
Why do
that's
you
the
think
thing.
Chick-fil-A is so popular
Oh
and
God.
still thriving? Chick-fil-A costs more than everybody. But the way that you're treated at a Chick-fil-A, I'd much rather go over there and spend $15 on a chicken sandwich than go to McDonald's and spend $8 on whatever the hell they feel like giving me, because it ain't gonna be right.
Hey, listen, man.
It's just not.
I will sit. I will see the line wrapped around the building of Chick-fil-A and go get in it because I know number one they're gonna move that line along.
They're gonna move that line.
They're gonna move that line. So the amount of time I wait in a line at Chick-fil-A wrapped around the building is still gonna be less than if I go get in line at McDonald's and it's only 2 cars in the drive-thru.
You remember we were at the Burger King
Oh,
and it was what, 3 people ahead of us? Nigga, we was almost late to the show.
nigga, I was listen, y'all. I was on the phone. Like I was texting people like I am at a Burger King. The girl came on the speaker and she was like, "Well, hello, good afternoon." I said, "Hell, well, how
So
you doing?"
nice, so
She was so sweet,
It,
so
it
nice.
gave good vibes, didn't it? It gave good vibes.
Oh, we was like, "Oh my gosh, this ain't like the Burger King where I'm at." And I'm like, "What about you?" He's like, "No, not around where I'm at, man." And now we both was in the town we don't live in. We was in Gainesville.
Right.
We was nowhere near each other where we live at. Man, we were so happy in that drive-through until after about 15, 20 minutes sitting there, we're like, wait a minute now. Good Lord. How long we got?
Like, this just like home.
Yeah, it's still Burger King. But listen, let me tell you this. When you was talking about you never know who you're entertaining, right? Like, so when I was younger, I was in a group, right? And we used to sing around town, and we did a lot of community events. And so if y'all know anything about Orlando is a hub for a lot of like big names, and we got Disney here, we got all this stuff. So it's much easier for them to get like big names to come in to do smaller things in Orlando than what you could in a smaller market, right? So we got in to do, it was a cultural heritage festival. And there was a VIP luncheon the day before the show, I believe. I'm not sure, but it was at the fairgrounds. So we went we had to perform at this VIP luncheon. So we went in, we performed or whatever, and we're standing around. My pops was there. And I saw this dude, he was in like just a t-shirt and some jeans. Everybody else is like, dressed up, you know what I'm saying? And he was just in like t-shirt and jeans, some regular sneakers, no biggie. And he came up and talked to me. I shook his hand, and I grew up like that, so I was always yes sir, no sir, blah 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 blah. My pops told me later, like pulled me to the side afterwards. It was like, you know who you were just talking to? No, I don't know who I was talking to. It was just some dude. I didn't even think he was one of the. This was and I might be wrong on the exact title, but he was like executive vice president for something in Disney. Like, so this is probably maybe in the top 5 richest people in the room, and he looks like just the regular dude. And I'm not talking about like a button up and some jeans. I mean like a t-shirt, like a plain white tee and some jeans.
Real money don't look like money for real.
Right, and that's what I learned that day. And the thing is that I could have just been like, man, I'm trying to get to the dude in the suit with the bow tie. Or I'm trying to get over here to hobnob with them. And the dude with all the bread is right here beside me talking to me. And then what I also learned was that he had some integrity because he stood there and talked to me when none of them other so-called rich-looking people wanted to give me the time of day. And that's like, oh, okay. So I understand now that what you do, good people are good people, regardless. Exactly. And if you're a terrible person, you can give you $1 million and you're just gonna be a terrible millionaire. That's it.
Right.
So
and I think that's what we learned about Sweetly Seasoned. I think that's what we learned about Sweetly Seasoned.
Right.
I don't know if you would know how to deal with a successful business if you can't deal well with $4,000.
Right.
You don't know how to operate. If your integrity isn't great with $4,000, what would it be with $400,000? This may have been God's test of, I'm gonna give you something to see how you act with it. To see if I'm gonna. We
don't understand that stuff. We don't bruh. People don't understand. Like, if I can't trust you with a little bit, why would I give you a lot? It doesn't make sense. I know people. I've heard stories, and I know people who they've told me to my face was like, I'm glad that I struggled the way I did then, because if I would have had what I have now, then I'd be dead or in jail somewhere. And
Definitely.
that's just real talk.
Definitely.
Like it couldn't handle it. Wouldn't be able to handle it. So you never know,
That's
people.
why I don't think God would let me be a good drug dealer for real. Like I'm glad I'm thinking I got robbed for a reason. I
I never been robbed.
I don't think I was a good drug dealer. I was not good. Bro, just imagine me being a successful drug dealer.
That'd be hilarious.
Can you imagine me
You would be
being
the
successful?
funniest plug on the planet.
Oh, niggas would love me.
Yo, I tell people all the time, they're like,
But
"Oh,
I'll
you used
probably
to
be the
slang."
brokest plug also. I would probably be the brokest dope man
Too nice.
ever. Because it's gonna be all about the jokes. It's gonna be all
Right.
about it.
Right.
And it was nothing God would not let me be successful at that because
you're funnier
would
to everybody when they
ruin
high. You be funny.
and that would be the thing. That would be the thing. I would have a house full of high people. Nobody would go sell dope. Nobody would go sell dope. Because you're gonna sit around like, nah, man, I'm gonna hang out. You come over there to pick up a package, and now you're over here for 4 hours and everybody waiting.
Right.
Nigga, nobody's gonna be able to sell drugs no more. Because you're just hanging out with them. It just wouldn't work.
Man,
but it's just one of those situations where we have to understand who we are,
right,
who we're dealing with, and not just treat people special who we feel are special. Because everybody who's coming to support and give you $1 should be treated the same. I don't care if they're coming to drop off a $4,000 tip or if they're over here and they're gonna try to tell you, I can't give you the full 10 now. Like you still got to treat them with the same respect. Still,
you know what?
You ain't got to give them nothing, but you got to give them the same respect and same customer service, especially in these businesses, because it's still a people business. At the end of the day, you may be selling food, but it's the people business. And if people don't like you, regardless of how good your product is, if they don't like you, you're never gonna win.
Bro, I'm so glad you.
Unless you're Jamaican. Them the meanest some bitches, bro.
And they gonna keep going. They gonna keep working,
bro.
They people come to them regardless how they get treated.
We will go to them regardless how they treat us.
Right.
You go in there and say, "Can I get some peas and rice and peas?" My bad. I don't know them say it the right, bro. What you want? What you want?
You about to be in trouble. You about to be in trouble.
Oh, you already know. But they know how. But they know how I feel. They know how I feel about those restaurants. As much as I love to get it, when you go there, they do not. All right, yeah, I'm gonna stop before I.
Listen, man. Listen. You said something that makes sense, and I'm glad you said it and brought it out that way. You said we need to learn to serve people, your customers, bro. This is the problem that I have with us. Now I am a small business owner. I am a black-owned business. Authentic Artistry Entertainment for all of your music needs. But anyway, so shameless plug. But listen,
tell them the website. Give them the website.
www.authenticartistryent.com. So the problem is that, like, okay, so recently, during the whole what really birthed this business, right, was during the pandemic. I've got uncles who are all pastors. You know, our uncles are preachers and pastors. So what I did was I went and I started traveling. Was like, look, I'm gonna make sure that my uncles stream while their members are at home looks good. So you need to do this, you need to do that, and we worked within whatever budget. We did whatever we had to do to make that happen. What came out of that was referrals. So then it was like, oh, this church or my pastor friend up the street needs this help, or my pastor friend across town needs some, and so that's what we did, right? Let's be clear, not my family. My family always took care of me. My uncles always took care of me, and in the beginning, the referrals took care of me too. In the beginning, but what I found out was if people who aren't black, let's just go and be real, people who aren't black, if they call me, they're not going to ready to haggle me about a price. They may want to negotiate, but there's a difference between negotiating and complaining. If they think that it should be this price and I say it's this price, they'll be like, okay, well, can we meet in the middle and do such and such and such? Well, can you give me an itemized da 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 da? No problem. I got you. And we work out what's fair compensation and we take care of it. Black people, come on, bruh. Hey, bruh, come on, man. Hey, listen, if I'm doing this for a living, and let's be real. I have a business that officially incorporated at the end of 2019. LLC was filed at the end of 2019. Left my full-time job into 2019. Bought a school in March of 2020. Everything shut down by the end of March of 2020.
2020. Yes.
And when I say, and I know the time frame because my kids got stuck in Georgia on spring break. Like, and it was like, no, you can't do this, that, whatever. So anyway, so I went through that whole first year with nothing. So when all these other businesses were getting these big lump sums of government assistance, I hadn't been around long enough to do it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? To get that. So it was like, all right, cool. Whatever's whatever. I was able to get a little bit here, a little bit there, but like not like these businesses was getting, right? So it all boils down to I'm dependent on the people who said they value what I do to help me. You understand what I'm saying? And by help me, I mean pay for the service.
Right.
But then people don't want to do that. So I've learned dealing with black folks in general. I'm not saying specifically, not all, but in general, when I deal with certain groups of people, these are some of the issues that I run into with black folks versus when I deal with other people. And it's not just black folks, Hispanic folks.
Right.
And those are the two that really stand out in my mind. Right. But white folks. But I mean, hey, bro, I grew up in church. I've been a musician in church for a long time. I learned this early on because I saw a meme and it was 4 squares, right? And it was just the different churches, and it was like the white church, and it was a big check that they were handing to the musician. Like it was like, thank you so much. Here's a big check. And then it was like this other church, and it was like, here's a big bucket of money. And then it was like one big collection plate of money. And then it got down to my church folks, Kojic Church, and it was like a handshake. Boy, you played that thing, Doc. Nigga, you can take this handshake and go.
Thank you for letting the Lord use your brother. Thank you for letting the Lord use your brother.
Right. The Lord used me. Why you using me too?
Right. But here's the thing that I have always applauded you on was when you could have taken the big cut and overcharged because you were in that position of need. Your integrity would not allow you to do something crazy. Even so, again, this is that same thing, that Keith Lee effect. Someone comes to you and offers you a job, instead of taking that $4,000 and holding on to 2 of it because it's only a $2,000 job, and I'm gonna charge you this $4,000 here because I'm really in need. You took the $2,000 that you were supposed to get, and down the line, they say he gave me a good price and did great work. So now I'm willing to tell my friends about you, and that way this business can continue to move, as opposed to, I gave him $4,000, but it was only about $2,000 worth of work. I would not recommend this guy because he's probably going to overcharge. So now that money that you had that day does not allow you to eat tomorrow.
The thing is that, and I don't want to get it misconstrued, the worst I've ever been dealt with business-wise was by black people. But the best I've ever been treated business-wise was by black people.
Exactly.
So don't get it twisted like everybody's doing. No. When I tell you there's a place here in town that they bought a new new church building, and they hired me and my company to do the full install on their church. And when I say full install, I mean cameras, monitors, new speakers, running wiring. I did all their video. I did everything from them completely just bare 4 walls in the building to what they are now. And when I tell you that they took care of the kid, took care of me, man, I appreciate. And I told them, I'm like, hey, I wasn't even going to charge you this much. Like, you deserve it. And I was like, you know what? That's the best feeling that you can ever get. That somebody who could have went with somebody else, they could have went with a whole lot of other people, and they chose you, and then you gave them the work, and then they decided you did so well, we're going to pay you more than what you deserve. And I was like, you know what? I'm with you on that. I appreciate it. So I try to treat every customer as if they're my own family. I try and treat every customer, everybody gets that same benefit. You can't let people run over you, but you got to treat people right, because most of my business is by word of mouth. Because I can't compete with the people who got millions of dollars, who got all these big equipment and all this other stuff.
And all this other stuff.
Right. But what I do have is integrity, and what I do have is the know-how to do the job right. So what I try to do is take all the negative that people say about black people in business and eliminate it from what I do. But I also always want to work with my people. My people is where my heart is at. So if Tim Smith around the corner calls me and Jaquan calls me, I'm leaning into Jaquan before I go over to Tim. You know what I'm saying? Because even if it means that I got to spend a little bit, I'm not going to make as much money. But as long as you treat people fair, they will talk about you. Because I go do Tim Smith, and as soon as Tim Smith can get some white dude to come do something, or when it's time to refer, he gonna send them. But Jaquan, if I treat him right, he gonna tell his cousins and this one and that one, and now I've got a whole little community of business over there. Even if I'm making less money over here, I'm gonna treat Jaquan like he paid me $1 million.
Right, treat him just like he was gonna pay me what Tim was gonna pay me.
Right,
and that's one of those things that brings me to this particular question, and I think we've had this discussion before of when we're dealing with people that we know. You never want to bash the black, and you always want to promote the black. But if they have a tendency to not be the most trustworthy, most honest, do you give that referral over to the next person? Because again, they're our people. We want them to succeed. We don't want anything to keep money from them. However, people come to us for a reason, because we know a lot of people. We have a vast array of people and experiences that we can tap into and get things done. Our network is wide. So when people come to us, they're going to trust our word. So how do you navigate that portion of it, where it's like, I know a guy who does great for me, but I know for some other folks, he doesn't do his best, but when it comes to me, he always does. So do I tell them, hey, if you're gonna go with this guy, let me know so I can tell him that I know you? Or if I have to do that, I shouldn't even send you their way.
It's a case by case. Number one is case by case. But in general, black people to black people. So this is the conundrum. If I know that you do work and you're subpar on your work, I don't care what color you are, I'm not recommending you, period.
Okay.
That's that. Also, if I recommend people, I tend to, I'll recommend people that I trust. I'll give my opinion on that person. If I have a negative opinion of you, as long as you're not going to be like extremely hurtful, and I don't know that for a fact, I'll just tell you, give you some advice. Here's an example, right? If I know somebody, and I think I told you this before, I know somebody in town who is a phenomenal musician. This is about to get me in trouble, because I know a lot of musicians, they're gonna be like, "Is he talking about me?" But and
step their game up, they better step their shit up.
Right. If you think it's you, then and then I know a young lady who is a phenomenal performer. She came to me and told me that she met this person, and he was really good, and he was a great musician. And when I found out who it was, I looked her in the face. I said, "Cool. Just make sure that you handle your business, get everything up front, put everything in writing, blah 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 blah, yada yada yada." And she didn't think nothing of it. She thought I was just, we were talking business. And I'm like, I'm not gonna badmouth anybody. She's like, "So what is he like?" I'm not. Listen, just make sure you handle your business. Number one, sidebar: if you ask somebody for their opinion on somebody, and they start telling you what you have to do to deal with that person, take that information. Take the clue. It's a heads up. But anyway, she did not do that. apparently, because maybe like a week later, a few days, a week later, or something like that, came back to me and told me how they got screwed over, how they lost a lot of money behind this, all this other stuff. I'm like, it took him less than 7 days to do to you what I knew was coming.
What I warned you about.
Right. And so, and what's bad is that all of us are black. All of us were black. All of us. And so it put me in a situation where I had to, in a roundabout way, warn somebody about another black business so that black business wouldn't get screwed. Now, does that happen very, very often? No. And but when we're dealing with one another, I know Tommy with an H. I know you and your circle, right? So if we get down to broadcasting and music and stuff like that, if you tell me that I can deal with this person, I trust you explicitly. I trust you 100% because you move with integrity and you move in those circles with people, and I know the people around you are going to have integrity because they wouldn't be around you if they didn't. So if that's the case, then I don't worry about it. So the problem is that because people come to us for our expertise, they put a lot of stock in what our opinion is. So if they find out, even without us knowing, if they find out that a person has been affiliated with us, they don't even dig any deeper to see why we're not necessarily affiliated or if we're still affiliated with that person. They just know, oh, well, if you worked with tech, oh, well, then you got to be straight up. And that's not always the case.
Not always the case. It's not always the case. Because again, I know some people who have done some work for me, and when they work for me, I'm like, it's perfection.
Right.
And then I've heard stories of them outside doing work for others where they have run off with money, where they have done certain just horrible jobs, half done situations. And it's like, if you come to me and ask me for someone, that name will pop up in my head because I know they do great work. However, I've also heard about the work they've done for others. So there's always that. I'll talk to them because I know if I tell them they're doing it for me or for one of my people, they'll hold me down. But don't go to them without me, because if you do, it's a crapshoot and I don't know what to tell you. So that's where that pretty much came up with me. It's like, I never want to keep someone from eating, so I'm never going to really badmouth anybody. I'm never gonna do that. But I will say, nah, or take me with you. Let's go together. I'll go with you. I'm willing to do that part. I'm willing to go with you and see if we can make some things work. So black people, not even just black people, all of y'all, whoever's watching this, treat everybody the same way so you don't miss out on something that could be great for you. Right. That's really what we were coming to when this particular subject was brought up. And I'm gonna see if I could I'm gonna find the clips. I don't care. I'm gonna find the clip and I'm gonna let y'all see what Keith Lee had to say. Let y'all see what the lady was saying. If I could find the video of her without all of the live stuff popping up in there, because that was just, it was humiliating and it was terrible.
But it was pure comedy gold, is what it was.
Yeah. If you're on the TikTok, first follow let's.get.canceled and then put it in there and put in Keith Lee Sweetly Seasoned. As soon as after you go like all of our videos, that should be the very next thing you do, is go in there and type that in and just look at the foolishness that went on with this lady and her son. Oh my goodness! Like I think I said take like 9 videos within 5 minutes. Like, oh, this one too.
It was great.
And this one and this. And
it was great.
And this was probably 10:30 in the evening, and I'm like, oh, I'm sending down the rabbit hole before bed.
Right. Knowing good well I ain't gonna be able to sleep now, nigga. Wait. Let's do this. I want to make sure that we do say that after Keith Lee responded, the owner of Sweetly Seasoned did get on, and she said, now, because in one of her videos she said, I want Keith Lee to tell me that I did it. If he tell me that he wanted them to have that money anyway, even though they wasn't with us, then I'll give it to him. But he need to be the one. And he went right on live and he put out the video, and he did. So after that, she did say, she's trying to reach out to them to give them the money. And I think the last thing she said was that they haven't been able to get a response from the young lady um, to come get the money, or for them to be able to figure out a way to send her the money, whatever.
Yeah.
But
The young lady said she did not want the $1,000. She said she
right,
didn't want her part because she was just there to help. But she said she wanted to make sure that her brother got paid. And the
understandably
son
so.
did come back on and gave an apology. And I think he's trying to move on from this. And in all honesty, I hope they are able to bounce back from this.
Right,
But
right.
I just don't know how forgiving. Like, we'll forgive. And that's the other thing about black folks or niggas. We'll forgive everybody else. We ain't going to forgive us.
Right.
You don't forgive us. So this may actually be that death knell because we don't forget, and we will not
But
forgive
see,
us.
here's the thing. And
Yeah.
tell me which one is worse. Like, all right, so is it the snake that you see, that you expect to bite you, or is it the one that you cuddle up with that bites you? Which one is the worst bite? Because let's be real, white folks, when they do bad business with us, they've been doing bad business with us since the transatlantic slave trade.
They came and got us.
Right. You understand what I'm saying? So if that's the case, then okay, fine. We see you coming a mile away, so we're gonna be cautious anyway. But when we open up and we want to deal with our own, and then we get stabbed like that from our own, it hurts a little bit more.
It hurts.
It hurts a whole lot more
because you know exactly what I've gone through to get here, and you still did it to me.
And that's what's messed up. So, all in all, people, let's stop hurting us.
Right.
Let us stop hurting us.
All right. I'm not saying on any and every side. Yeah, we don't have to do this to each other. We don't have to do this to each other.
We're not talking about just you ought to. I'm not going to tell you how to run your business. If you want to say, I'm not saying give no hookups. I ain't saying give no nothing like this. Speaking of hookups, all right, I'm off this subject, y'all. But I got to tell you this story. Let's go. I did an event, right? We were outside, big event, and we did the sound, and we were the backing band for this big. It was a gospel centered event, right? Okay. We did it. We do the whole thing. Matter of fact, one of the singers, like, she couldn't get. I went and got some more singers, and we brought them up there. They did wonderful. Everything was great. The lady who was supposed to pay us, right? She came back to my partner, and she was like, "Oh, well, we didn't make what we thought we were going to make. They ain't got nothing to do with us. Cut my check. They ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't care if you made 37 cents. You hired me for this number. Normally, when I do the business, you got to pay me half up front. Right. When you book it, that's your deposit. And then when we get there, before I plug in an amp, nigga, you got to pay me the rest of my money. And then, boom, we'll go ahead and set up, and we're going to give you a perfect show, whatever." Right. But anyway, my partner handled this, and he was a little soft, and it was nicer, and church people, yada, yada. She tried to get out of paying us the full amount. Fast forward to a week later. Now, she's supposed to be some preacher, right? I am not joking. I am not exaggerating.
Supposed to be some preacher? She ain't
I'm
no
going
preacher.
to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why I mean it's supposed to be. Because we do another event the following week. She was there. It wasn't her event, but she was in the place. She got up to speak and was preaching and all this other stuff. And I'm doing drums over there, and this was a smaller setup. She came right over to my drums and looked me square in the face, and I'm not exaggerating. She called herself prophesying. She walked over there. I'm sitting behind the drums, right? The same lady who tried to not pay us came over. She goes, "I don't know what it is, but God is telling me that I don't know how to explain it. Here, I'll show you." And she put her hand on my cymbal on my drum set, and she said, "God said, if this costs $1,000, don't you take a penny less than $1,000. Charge it." And I'm looking at her going, "Ain't you the one who tried to cut me? What?" And I look over at my partner, who was the one who negotiated with her, and he's sitting over on the keys. He looked at me. He was like, and I don't know if she got frustrated because I wasn't all like, "Oh, thank you." No, I was just like, and I was looking at it just like this, y'all. I was just like, because, and this is what I mean. But anyway, let's do better, people. Let's do better by us. Let's do better in business. Let's do better. And I'm not saying that we're worse than anybody else, but I'm talking to us right now. Not at all. Not even a little bit.
And that's the one thing I don't want anybody to think is, "Oh, why y'all coming at black people like nobody else does bad business?" Like, listen here. Stop holding us to the standard of everybody else. We better than everybody else. In my mind, anyway.
Right.
So I don't want their standard to be my standard. I'm gonna always hold mine, who I know better, to a higher standard than everybody else. Because I don't know what they, well, we've seen what other people have done.
Right.
So I'm gonna definitely hold my folks to a higher standard. And why am I holding
Absolutely.
myself to their standard? Like that standard isn't the end all be all for me. Like why am I gonna
No.
digress?
Yeah.
I
Yep.
will digress. I will. I'm gonna
If
get
y'all
off of
have
this.
if y'all
But
have a different
we,
opinion, if
if
you
y'all
think
have not,
we didn't do it right, go ahead right now in the comments, man. Let us know what's going on, what you think about what we said. What's your opinion on this topic? Do you
you're
think
right.
that black folks need to do better, or do you think that we wrong for saying something about black
Bringing
people
it up.
without? Whatever you think it is, we're open to the conversation, and just say what you want to. Be
Yeah.
respectful, because
Speak freely. Speak freely.
yeah, speak freely, but be
Just know
respectful.
we gonna speak freely too.
Yes,
That's all I want you to. You can give me as you can give it as much as you want, because I can take it as well
absolutely.
as I can give it. Pause. But straight up and down, like, you can say whatever you want to say to me. Just know I'm gonna say what needs to be said back to you. And I was trying to stop before I went too far. And I'm glad you cut me off and said just go ahead and let them talk, because I was really gonna go somewhere. So I
Yeah,
was just gonna say, hey, we got new merch. You see, we ain't got the sweaties on no more. Springtime's coming,
yeah,
so we
man.
got new merch. We're gonna have 20 shirts available.
20.
We're gonna we're gonna limit this to 20. So again, in the comments, how wherever, give me your color, size, and where to send it to. You can DM that part to us. But we're gonna have 20 shirts available here to sell. I'll let y'all know prices when you tell me what you want. So we'll go from there. But yeah, so, and I appreciate Custom Journey for hooking this one up. So yeah, we've got some
Absolutely.
folks out here that's willing to work for us. So y'all go ahead and let us know, so we can start getting these things shipped out, so we can move this along. So moving on to our next subject, like I said earlier, we had a conversation about FAMU and their situation with their coach. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick over to that interview, and then we'll be right back. Well, tonight we are here with one of my faves. I got Ash online. We're going to be discussing a little bit about FAMU. I told you guys we were going to come back and we're going to have some conversation about the HBCUs. And I'm going to start off with my fave, our fave. We're going to start off with FAMU. So I brought Ashley on. So Ashley, go ahead and say what's up to the people.
What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm Ashley, FAMU graduate. Graduated actually 2 time FAMU graduate.
Two times.
2 times. So I'm a real rattler and I'm a real alumni now. Like I'm one of them drive up in the Cadillac alumni booster type alumni now. I'm in it. So
Yes, and that's exactly why we brought you on here today, because there have been some going zones in the last few months dealing with FAMU. After the Celebration Bowl win, we ended up having some issues going on with the coach. We had some conversations going on about the AD and the president. Had some situations going on with the bowling team and all types of things. So we're gonna get into a little bit of that. And signing day was this week, so it kind of deals with a little bit
yes.
of the backlash that came from what went on with the AD and the head coach. So Willie Simmons, as y'all know, Willie Simmons moved on to Duke University. Shout out to Off Script. Scotty from Off Script was the first person that I knew
Yep.
that had any intel on this. So shout out to Off Script. We're gonna have his
Absolutely.
details in at the end, but straight up, he came on and broke the news that there was an offer for Duke, and it wasn't confirmed at the time, but he had the lowdown and he was able to speak on that. And I don't understand how FAMU let Willie Simmons go. So I think I'll start on that side with you right now, Ash. Like, what were your initial thoughts when you heard Willie was leaving?
Well, of course, I was kind of hoping it wasn't true because I had just gone to the like a little mini celebration bowl celebration in
Mm-hmm.
Tallahassee, and he was not in at all, talking in that vein. Like, and yes, coaches absolutely will sell a ticket to you and recruit all the way to the last hour
Right.
that they're when they know they've signed the contract to walk away. So I've seen it happen that way, but this is my opinion, but I don't genuinely don't believe that he was walking out the door per se. Now, When you get to the point of him actually walking out the door, I do believe that I'm not going to put this 100% on the AD. I think at the university, I think the same thing happened at FAMU that happened. I won't say the same thing, but very similar with Deion Sanders. And because the same question was like, how y'all let Deion walk out of there when he's doing so much at Jackson State? Very similar type of situation, not exactly the same. But I do believe that there should have been negotiations happening earlier in the season. I do believe that there should have been a call to action, that same call to action that happened close to the time when he had that weekend to kind of crash course it and let's do something. I do believe that as an alumni base, as a university, as an athletic department, we should have been forecasting this to happen because we knew it would happen. It's not surprising that he got offers because he had offers prior to this year. So he had been turning down offers. Like, how many more offers is the guy going to turn down? That's number one. But I feel like we knew what we had, but I also felt too comfortable in his love for FAMU and his family roots to Tallahassee and Quincy, Florida. And it just caught us with our pants down.
I understand, but I'm going to give a little bit of pushback on caught us with our pants down because there was an offer in 2021 from South Carolina Gamecocks to bring him over for the same position he left for as a running back coach in 2021. 2022, before Prime left and everybody was talking, there was talks about South Florida reaching out to Willie Simmons and him almost leaving then. At that particular point, AD wasn't there. I guess, what's her name? Tiffany Dawn.
So that's the thing. She wasn't Tiffany Sykes. So that's the thing. She wasn't there. Like, and the apparently negotiated a contract, but it was an extension and not really any money involved in my understanding.
I think there was a $75,000 offer or something like that.
Got him for a little bit longer. Yeah, so and a lot of it, honestly, some of it is hearsay, and I can't really is alleged from or deny like, oh, she only gave him offered him 75, but she only offered him whatever. But to me, you're caught with the pants down. Like, to me, after the Orange Blossom Classic, the conversation should have been rolling. Like, and that is on the current AD to kind of start the conversation. Make that ask that you made in the last weekend. Make that in the beginning of the season and say, hey.
All right. So my question for you right there is, what role does the president of university play aside from the athletic director? But as far as a coach leaving, how much say and how much sway does the president of the university have? How much of this is his fault?
I think the president of the university has to be strongly invested in the athletics in order to have a say-so in a sense. To my understanding, the president is the individual who hires the athletic director. The athletic director kind of does their job. So it's kind of a supervisor of a department where the department has its own supervisor, which would be the AD. So I would like to think that, and again, this is subjective because I don't have 100% insight on what went down or how these higher education roles work. But I would like to think that the president comes in once the athletic director calls you in and says, hey, we have an individual. In this case, Coach Willie Simmons is looking to walk out the door and go to another institution. We like to really keep him, and go from there. So I don't have every single role and duty of athletic director, but I would like to think that the president can influence, being the supervisor of that athletic director, can influence the DSOs perhaps, or even give some oversight on like, hey, this is how we've done it in the past, considering she was a new hire in a new role. She's never been athletic director prior to, based on what others have mentioned of things I've learned. A general president has the role to oversee who the athletic director will potentially bring in, because they have to sign off on it. At the end of the day, no matter who she brings in, or if she were to do like perhaps a contract extension, like maybe they were able to convince Coach Simmons to stay, perhaps the contract extension at that point comes into play. How much are we going to give him? So I think that the ultimate negotiations happens between the athletic department and AD and the coach. Bottom line, but I would like to think that if the president is invested, involved, has some level of hand in the pot, that the president would then come in and say, let's take this route, let's take that route in order to secure or retain our championship winning coach. Or if not, maybe if it were the opposite, hey, we need to go in another direction, for the, because ultimately, if he's the one who hired her as an athletic director, then it does fall on him to say, hey, well, this is who you ultimately hired, and this person may or may not be from the constituent standpoint, from the alumni, from the DSOs, players, hey, who hired this person? And this person is not moving within the culture of what we know to do or what we desire to do, and ultimately money talks and constituents, as we saw.
And we did see that they do move when they want something, when that alumni association wants something, they get together, they will mobilize, and they will figure a way to figure things out. And I think that was kind of my biggest issue with this particular situation, is that we knew something could come up and we weren't prepared for it. And like you said, we caught with our pants down on that end.
That's exactly that's what it goes back to. You're just not prepared. Like,
it's caught with our pants down because
what's the succession plan?
Yeah, because we didn't. I don't know if it's the fact that she didn't believe he would go anywhere, because if you see what was happening, there's no reason you should have been caught with your pants down. But to your point, we actually were caught with our pants down in this particular situation, simply because she didn't have the foresight to know that he's been offered these jobs before I got here. Once I get here, the offers are still going to continue. I need to be prepared for that. And I think that's the biggest.
They're not going to stop. The more you win, it's college football, no matter what level you're on. Like, even high school, like the amateur level, the lower levels. Yes. If you win, you are going to be poached. Your staff is going to get poached. And in the college landscape, even your players are going to be poached to transfer out. So it's just a revolving door that has become a thing. And I don't want to put any accusations on anyone, but I'm just not too sure that she was pressed about keeping them, because based on actions, you can't tell me that you were either that or you do bad business.
Because that should have been priority one.
There's a great chance that Coach Simmons would have walked out of the door.
That coach should have been priority one, in my book.
In my book. And probably everybody's book that has anything to do and love FAMU. So my thing is this: based on actions, a couple of things could have, might have, or confirmed to be happening. Like, business is bad, and or there was no desire to retain him. Maybe relationship strained. We don't know what happened behind closed doors, and I'm not here to put things out there that are not true or right, because I can't say what happened. But the point of the matter is that you have to fight for your championship, coach and team and program, right? So I believe that Coach Simmons was going to leave at some point. Maybe this year, maybe it happened next year. But based on, that's neither here nor there. Based on the way this was handled, we'll never know what could have been.
Right.
Is the bottom line. So let's just say that FAMU as a university, as an athletic department, had done everything needed to do to be prepared for this moment, and he still walked away. You got to live with that, right?
Indeed.
You live with it. You may not like it. You may be sad about it, but you live with it. It's hard to live with the what ifs of this was an unsuccessful business transaction because of the inner workings of the people who are in charge.
I think that's what hurts the most.
It's tough. It's just one of those things that we'll never know, right? I will say, one thing I do love is that the alumni and the DSOs put their best foot forward when called on. I love to see that, because it would have been like, I would have been so disappointed had we not as a whole not done exactly what we did.
Yeah.
But again, we aren't the ones in control. Like, we aren't the ones getting calls from agents saying, hey, my guy has an offer on the table. He's willing to listen to what you all have to offer. Like, we're not there. We couldn't have guessed Coach Simmons got an offer right after Celebration Bowl from Duke. He didn't leave until 2 weeks later. So how much? Right. So what really happened in the 2 week time span, which is stuff we'll never know.
And my problem is there probably was not a conversation had during that 2 week span. And there should have been a call as soon as the Celebration Bowl was won, athletic director, president, you have to reach out to these these alumni associations.
Right.
Hey, we need some money. We don't have enough money to pay these bonuses. They came up with what, $140,000 in like 72 hours?
72 hours or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, like that's how, and that's what really is worrisome and annoying, and all the other words you could think of, is because, again, it shouldn't have even come down to a 2 weeks later situation. It should have been like, hey, I got an offer on the table, and we like, boom, we're not worried about it. Like, boom, here
because we got it.
Like, I got 100. I got 800,000 between pledges, between real cash, between over the next couple of years. This is what we'll do for you, and then make it hard for you to walk away.
Right.
We did not, as a university, we did not make it hard for him to walk away, and that's just what it is. Not saying that he wasn't going to walk away, because we can't say he wouldn't have walked away, but we did not make it hard for him.
Yeah. A coach that's 2022. He was 22 and 2 in the SWAC. After you win, all you see is Prime. It's Prime. So Prime beat you these last 2 years. Other than that, you've won everything that when you moved into the SWAC in this third year. So in this third year, I have to come to you at the start of the season, because now that primetime factor is removed. So now you are the man.
It's your show. It's your show. Like, it's nobody else. Not only that, if you really think about it, and this is another one of my theories, because we didn't know when Prime would leave, I believe he was recruiting to go up against Prime, because that was only the real hurdle, right? So Prime has 5 stars, he got 4 stars. He pulling out the Monstars. His back pocket fall out. I mean, he pulling out every trick that he got. You know what I'm saying? So when you realize, all right, we're going up against this, I got to recruit against that. And I think that that's also why FAMU was so much better than the rest of the conference, because Coach Simmons said, all right, I got something for this. You know, you get in a fight and you lose, and you go back and you get pumped up and you come back ready to fight again. And that's the kind of the way, to me, that's the way he came back. And it was just like, oh, well, not saying that he didn't need to do it, because, you know, it bolstered his resume. It gave a lot of things. It created an actual program that FAMU had been lacking for a decade.
Yes.
So it's an amazing thing to me. But ultimately, we did not do what it was necessary to convince him to stay at least one more year, or say, all right, I left, but it was real hard because they really put out all the stops. And I know he saw the effort, but I do believe it's a little too late.
It was. So I'm not going to bash the AD much. I'm not gonna, but I do have.
Well, I'm trying my best to be politically correct for some reasons. And not there are a lot of wrong steps.
You do not have to be politically correct here. We are here for the truth.
The hard truth is that she made a lot of errors in this process. The university as a whole, like from a president standpoint, he was complicit in the errors. Might not have necessarily done them himself, but as a supervisor, I always look at the top. Like, you can't, no matter what's wrong in an organization, I don't care who it is. If it's at the bottom, it's still the top. If it's at the top, it's the top. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle, in that mid level, it's still the top, because ultimately, if you're the supervisor or the head guy in charge or head woman in charge, you have to control how things happen, at least when you are abreast of what's happening. You know, maybe things happen that you're kind of like, hey, I gave you autonomy to do what you needed to do as a leader of the organization, but now I need to step in. And that's what happens. You're supposed to step in and say, all right, let's.
Yeah, you got to stop the bleeding at some point.
You got to stop the bleeding.
Before you even start to bleed, you should notice that there's a cut there. So let's go ahead and do something with it. And I think that's where our president failed us. Now, as far as the coaching search went, how do you think that went? Because once Willie was gone, there was a push that we need to get a coach. The players had an idea, AD had an idea, and what ended up happening was the board of trustees felt like they were not included in the decision at all. Because she went out and said, hey, I've got a coach, I'm ready to hire, and then brought that to the board. So do you think that, because again, ultimately, the coaching hire is on the president and the athletic director. So do you believe she should have included that board in her decision making?
Absolutely. The board, the DSOs, and the reason why is because you need them. So you can't, you know, shun everybody to the side and act like opinions aren't important or input isn't important, and then in the next breath of that same coach you desire to hire or another coach you desire to hire, you say, hey, but I only have this X amount of dollars in my budget. I need another 100,000. I need another 50,000. It's like, oh, really? You do?
And that was my biggest concern with it.
That's exactly how it played out, though.
Yeah,
so
that
it's
was my biggest concern. Because if you have to come to me and ask for money, if you have to come to me and ask for money,
you got to answer the people you ask for money from.
I need to be involved in the process.
Exactly. Like, you better be as independent as you can be if you're gonna make sure that other people are not involved in the process. And granted, their choice was nowhere near her choices.
At all.
For the head coach, and like not even almost close. And her reason is her reason. I can't tell you what her reasons were, but they were obviously not the FAMU choices that were on the table. So then again, either you're going to be with us or you are against us, in the sense that this is who we have, and this is who the money is for. Now, if you can figure out how to make your guys be the guys without us, then it's not much we can do anyway, because you're the end all be all of the hire. So it boils down to, okay, do you need us or do you not? Well, I only have X amount of dollars in my budget. Can y'all help me hire the guy that y'all don't want? Can I have your money?
Right.
The money that was raised from that alumni for Coach Simmons, the alumni, it appears that the alumni were generally okay with using it for the next coach, right? I don't know if many people asked for money back, which there was an anticipation that maybe people would ask for, maybe people would say, hey, my 20,000 went towards Coach Simmons. He's not there, my pledges. So I do believe that people were okay with, the next coach. But again, you cannot decide what you're going to do so with someone else's money and do what you want to do. And I believe that the NAA had to stand firm and say, hey, we asked our alumni, we're the voice, right? We're the mouthpiece for them. We represent them. It's kind of like a union. Like, we represent them. Like, we asked these people for X amount of dollars. They exceeded that in a short period of time. There's no way we can look them in the face and honestly say, oh yeah, but we did hand over those same dollars to go towards someone that we know no one in the for majority of the base. I won't say all, but for majority of the base would not have been satisfied or happy with, for one reason or another. And there are a lot of reasons why. But ultimately, just like HBCUs, and I don't think it's just an HBCU thing. Every school has its culture. Every athletic department has its culture, and that's why Willie Taggart didn't work, because he wasn't the culture that they wanted. That's why these coaches, when they don't work, it's ultimately something about the culture outside of winning or losing. Because if you're winning, they don't care. But it's a little bit of everything. So she just played the wrong hand by acting like, oh, I don't need the advice, the opinion, or the input of these people, but I do need your money. And that's where it went wrong more than it was already wrong. Because this thing has been wrong from the beginning.
It's been wrong. It's been wrong since she got here. It's been wrong since she got here. So I'm going to give you two more things. How familiar are you with this bowling team situation?
I've seen, all I know, I'll be honest, this is probably one of the situations, because my ears are to the streets. They're always to the Rattler streets.
Right.
So I will say that I knew about that bowling situation long before it hit the waves, right? I can't say who's right or who's wrong, but this is what I will say. You got one person, the bowler who was dismissed along with the teammates, right? Who went on Roland Martin and spilled her piece, right?
Right.
Then you have, I don't know if you know, that there's a new bowler who was a current bowler who I guess was on the team, stayed, and says, hey, I can't let her get up here and just say all this stuff and then not be factual.
Right.
Well, that's another side to the story, right? Then the AD makes her statement that just says, hey, I support the coach and the choice she made. She did it based on NCAA regulations. Leave it at that, right? Well, everybody has mentioned emails.
Yes.
These particular emails that were either disrespectful or had some bit of information. Like, why don't we produce the emails? That'll hush a lot of this up, right?
Illustrating everything.
But what I can say is that, based on my personal opinion, I'm not too sure it was in the best interest of the bowling team and the university to hire someone who was inexperienced, as well as what, 24, 26 ish,
Yeah, I think
somewhere
she's
in
3
there.
years removed from
They're
participating.
peers. They are peers.
Yes.
There's no way in any situation where that makes logical sense. But again, I'm no AD, so maybe I don't know anything.
But that's
So
as an AD, you have to be aware of that sort of thing. And I'm not gonna find someone who is 3 years removed from playing to be the head of my team.
a bowling team who was, I don't know if they
Third, I
won
think they
the
were third in the SWAC.
championship, but definitely like top 3 to 5.
Yeah, they
Like,
were number 3 in the SWAC last year.
and guess what? Guess what? They just finished one of the I think, was it last weekend? They had
With
a
the
tournament.
walk-ons.
Yeah, 8th. Guess how many schools there are? 8.
So we come
So
in
here we
dead
are.
ass last with this new team.
And that's what I'm saying. And the girl who has the biggest concern, or the student who has the biggest concern, is the above 3.0 GPA player of the year or SWAC, something
Yes.
of the nature, high honors as it pertains to being able to bowl. Like, she's like, you think that you want her to, but I think the situational awareness is lacking in the department, in the athletic department, when it comes to hires. In a lot of things that I've just seen transpire that just don't make a lot of logical sense. Again, I try not to act like I know it all, because again, I've never been athletic director, right? All I do is I know I love sports, I love business, I know both, but I haven't been in the shoes of an athletic director. I don't know the politics behind it, because it's politics. They're always politics, but just a different set of eyes on the outside looking in. It's just like, where's the situational awareness for any of these decisions?
And I think one of my other issues is the fact that the young lady said, I reached out to the athletic director. The athletic director scheduled a meeting and then canceled the meeting, and it wasn't rescheduled. So, athletic director, I need you to make sure that these meetings are had, these conversations are had, so you can have a full handle on what's happening. But I also have a problem with the board for, you didn't question her when she made that hire. Nobody said anything about this bowling thing. Nobody
Nope.
cared that it was a bowling coach. But again,
Oh, of course not. It's bowling. They didn't
yeah,
care.
but these are the type of PR situations that you run into when you don't do your due diligence as well. Now, I'm hearing from others that this athletic director was not the first choice or even one of the finalists for the position, but your president decided, I'm going to hire her anyway. So if the president will buck tradition and not go to the board with anything and make a hire that's against what they recommend, then I can understand why an athletic director would feel the same cachet of, I can do whatever it is that I want to do. And there have been a lot of reports of good things about AD. There's been some bad things, but I'm gonna get you out of here on this one. Do you think that her gender has anything to do with some of the backlash she's getting? Is it deserved? Because I've seen some posts from some of her
Yeah.
friends, and they're saying that if this were a man, we wouldn't be having these conversations. So the misogyny of it all, it's a real thing. So I'm not going to discount it. But do you think in this particular situation, with the track record that she has, do you think that has anything to do with the backlash that she's getting right now?
What I will say is that, because I'm on like Twitter, social media areas, and there I did see some instances of misogyny just from your average fan or person who was just involved in researching and learning about all of the things that have transpired, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I will not sit here and say that there is not 1 ounce of misogyny from anybody, right? But what I will say is, can we really hold a Twitter account, possibly a troll,
Right,
possibly just a regular smuggler fan that would probably do misogynistic things to them, to their cousins and their grandmas, and so in that sense, yes. But from the general consensus of the fan base, from what I gather, also from those who truly love FAMU, who truly want what's best for FAMU, no matter who the AD is, president or whatever, I don't believe that there was any misogyny towards her in her decision making. I do believe that it's probably more about experience than gender. So if you brought in an AD who had experience prior to being FAMU's AD and had to make the same decision. Do I hire within? Do I hire external? Do I hire the 20-something-year-old bowling coach? You tend to trust. It really boils down to trust. Just bottom line. You tend to trust the judgment of people who have more experience, especially if they're going to buck the system. So you're bucking the system. You happen to be a female, and the choices that you've made don't amount to what we've been accustomed to. So I can't call it misogyny. Have I seen some people like a misogynistic tweet? Yeah, I've seen it, and I've kind of been like, man, that's just a lie. I don't care for that, right?
Right.
But overall, no. It's everything to do with performance, everything to do with experience, and everything to do with the things that people really know that the outsiders don't. So as much as FAMU's business, mainly due to the Florida Sunshine Law, is on Front Street, like the Board of Trustees meetings are there, you have to do it. You know, but there's so much that happens that nobody sees, or the casual South Carolina State fan may just see the tweets, but never know the inner workings of what happened weeks prior. Like I said, the bowling incident was not a surprise. I actually didn't think it would hit the fan, to be honest with you.
Until the little girl went on TikTok.
Until the girl, she went on Roland Martin, and that's what changed the game. And it's like, oh, okay, like this is real. Like I kind of low key was like, I see, because people do a lot of complaining, and you don't really all the way, you know, you got to hear all the sides of the story. Not to say that it wasn't valid, and we still don't know what's valid, because now we got two sides of the story, and we don't have the third one, which is typically the truth. So again, it's so many things that happen on that many people just aren't privy to, and then we make assumptions and we make reservations, and we do all these things based on the little bit that we know, and we don't know what's really happening and what really has already happened. And then it's like, oh well, you're just doing this because she's a woman. We're just doing it. This is misogyny. It's like, no, it's not. Like let's just look at pure take names off of. Let's just put all the decision making points on a piece of paper. Nobody's name, nobody's gender, and let's just give it a check or X on what makes sense and what doesn't. And that's why I don't believe it's misogyny. Now, if she was doing, and it's one of those things where trust, because again, sometimes in sports, especially, people trust men over women kind of thing. But again, the lack of experience proves that the trust wouldn't be there. It's kind of like, oh, let's just wait it out and see how this plays out. It's kind of like a new coach.
Right.
You say, all right, they're a new coach. We don't know what they could have done, because they kind of got moved up maybe from offensive coordinator or something of that nature. We know they did as this, but we don't know what you did as actual coach. So her experience came in compliance, which was an issue for FAMU, and she did an amazing job at that. I don't think anybody has not given her the accolades and credit for the compliance part that she has in 1 year. She actually hired the women's basketball coach who is showing positive trajectory in the right direction towards where you want to see your athletic women's basketball going. So people have to stop acting like she isn't getting praised in the places she should be praised in. But you also have to acknowledge that the choices she made, although from a on paper role is concerned, yes, it's her role to hire the coach, and it also is her responsibility to make sure this is a winning coach, because we already know what happens when coaches don't win.
Yeah,
right. So
that budget's gonna be fucked up.
The budget's bust. The fans are pissed. Ain't nobody buying season tickets. Like, it's just so many things that go wrong, that when all that had to be done in this case was to just like, hey, include your constituents, or hey, just put the inside guy on a 1 or 2 year contract just as a preliminary. Hey, we'll give this a chance. And if you do go wrong, like in my mind, I guess I think you will, then I can say, no, this is your choice. Don't hold me. I'm not accountable for this guy.
And I think that to me is exactly what she should have started with.
I would have done it. That was the easiest layup. I mean, Willie through the alley, all she had to do was dunk it. And I'm like, baby, you just let the alley just fall out of bounds.
Because let the people who want to know, the donors, give them their input. That's all they really wanted, was a conversation. I think that the transparency wasn't there, and when the transparency is not there, the trust can't be there.
the trust goes, and then it's easy to start nitpicking. Oh, you weren't an AD before anyway. Oh, you made this and this didn't happen this way, and you hired the bowling coach who was young, so that don't make sense either. So then it's easy to start like nitpicking. And once you're on the radar, you just like life, you're always on the radar. Like now everybody's trying to find out, instead of giving you the benefit, now you have no benefit of the doubt anymore.
Yeah.
And you're just out here in these streets trying to do everything right because nothing you can do is perfect. So I think that ultimately this whole process has been botched, whether it be due to inexperience, whether it be due to ego and desire to make my own way and prove whatever that needs to be proven. I can't confirm or deny what it is, but I can say that one thing's for certain: it's been botched, and it has current ramifications. You said something about recruiting. The National Recruiting Day is today, and actually, FAMU fared well considering.
Yes.
Fared very well considering.
Thank God when you lose a coach.
Because if FAMU wasn't a championship program, I don't think anybody would have signed today.
No. and that's I'm a little bit concerned because we have some momentum right now, but we lost so much. In losing head coach,
it's just so disheartening. Like
to lose Devin, though, that to me was
that's another
that
one.
was crushing.
That's another one. Whereas Devin was gonna take it. Devin wanted the opportunity at the Power 5 level, no question about it. So did Coach Simmons. So again, we can't say that they would not have taken opportunities had they presented themselves. To my understanding, Devin himself, I saw an article that said that the offer was presented to him last year. He turned it down. But it kind of felt like one of those LeBron, I'm in Cleveland, I won a championship, I got to go now. Like, I catch y'all later kind of situation. That's what it felt like. I was like, this
got to strike while the iron's hot.
All the Cleveland Cavalier fans were just pissed off, but he was kind of like, I came to do what I said I was going to do. I'm here. I left. I love y'all. I gotta make my other, rounds wherever I'm gonna be next. So losing Devin is definitely Willie Simmons was a huge dagger. Devin was the next biggest dagger. The defensive coordinator is another dagger. And I can't say that had this process played out the way we envisioned it to play out, that the latter of those two would be gone right now.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Had really
definitely not defensive coordinator. He loved FAMU
because they would have tried to run it. I just think if the money's right, we're gonna run this back. We're gonna run this back, see if we can get another. Because there's nothing better than the championship than two.
And after that, it's kind of like whatever. If we get 3, it's icing on. It's kind of like icing on the cake. But if you don't, we did it twice. Because you get that first taste, and then you want to like taste it a little bit. You get one more bite, and then you're like, okay, we good.
And then I do think who's coming. You know who's coming to you once you if I can do this twice, I don't have to be a running backs coach. Somebody's gonna come and give me a head coaching job.
And that's kind of the part that I've seen a lot of people not understand. You want to be why are you choosing to be a running backs coach? Why don't you wait it out, to prove yourself one more time? But I just think, again, a lot of the process yielded the results of him thinking that a running backs coach job at Duke, a basketball school of all places, was better than sticking it out and dealing with the lesser resources and the things that come along with HBCU football that he made a lot out of a little starting out, and then we finally developed the program that we have now. But starting out, he's endured a lot from the start. Coach Simmons, from the beginning of his contract up until now, he's really built this thing. So it does have some cracks in the foundation since the hiring process, but it's primarily there, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we can maintain. I think as Raptor Nation, I think we can still maintain what we've done. Like I'm saying, as far as coaching goes, we're gonna see what Cozy does. We're gonna see how he does. Now, as far as recruiting goes and your defense that has produced Defensive Player of the Year in FCS for
for the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, last 2-3 years, right? Yeah. So
like Marquise Bell wasn't Defensive Player of the Year, but he was.
But he should have.
It was only because I think that's the year Deion was still there, and I mean, who was?
Yeah, he had all
award Deion at the time.
Yeah. So that's going to be the thing. I'm just like, if we can keep the recruiting train going, I think things are going to be okay. But it's just going to take FAMU winning. Yeah, because it's different than a local. it's different when you're a local kid being able to sell Tallahassee to outside to come in. Like I can sell FAMU, but I can sell Tallahassee.
That was the method to the madness. If you notice, all of the key contributors, or majority of them, especially the transfers that came back, they had gone to Rickers and whatever local schools there were, and we're just coming back home. The Clemson tight end who decided to ultimately go to UVA, he was from Tallahassee, Lincoln, so I think that was also Coach Simmons got smart, and Respers got smart and said, let's just recruit our backyard. Like Tallahassee has way more talent than we act like we do.
Right. Because our talent always goes elsewhere.
Always has.
Grabs 1 or 2. FAMU will grab always 3 stars, but all of our 5 and 4 stars, they'll leave the city.
They go out. And it makes no sense. And I get it. A lot of kids, huge. Right. Like a lot of kids may not want to stay home for one reason or another. But you won't get them all. But all of our talent, we got a lot of talent that just marches out of the city, going to other programs and being great, and not staying at FAMU, Florida, which are 2 FAMU or Florida State for that matter.
Right.
2 high-level programs within their own right. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I think Coach, I've seen a few interviews that Coach Cozy has done. I like what I see from him, but of course, he does not look like he's lost in this role. He looks like he belongs in the role. So that's nice to see. We went all the way around the world to get back to
come back home.
We spent a lot of money. We spent a lot of time. We had a lot of heartache. We had a lot of
loss.
A lot of loss to be where we should have been on January 2nd.
Yeah.
So I think we're licking our wounds. We're kind of like, hey, it's one of those things where you got to find the silver lining and say, hey, it happened the way it happened. One thing I will say, there's one thing, if nothing else comes of this, we as Rattler Nation figured out that we are better together. We can band together, because a lot of programs lower than FBS don't come together and make decisions from the athletic standpoint where, hey, this is how much money we have. We need input. This is what we're going to do. So that was a beautiful thing in the middle of the mess. It was like, oh, we can do that. This is unity right here, which doesn't always happen. And other HBCUs, I hope, sat back, and fan bases and on the HBCU level specifically. I hope they were able to, although they had a lot of chitter chatter that
they had a lot to say. They had a lot
to say, baby. I hope that they also can take notes and say, hey, if we ever find ourselves in a position where we're unhappy with the way things are happening, and there's a way to do it that's not going to cause a lot of riffraff and issues, we need to come together and do that. And that's what we as African Americans need to do. That's what the fan base of the Black fan base we need to do. Like we have way more power than we act like we have as a group. And what we do is we let these HBCUs and these presidents run around and do all, and ADs make all the choices they want to make without any accountability. And this has been a major point of accountability in more ways than one, because now we're watching, now we're giving money, now we're saying, well, we aren't happy with the things that are happening, in leadership, but we're still going to put money into it, because usually you just close up your purse, right?
Yeah.
But you still need to funnel it into it and then use your dollars to speak for you, because money will talk. So I think ultimately, although I just absolutely hate that it played out like this, because it just was an easier way to get here without the loss, without all the other things and the PR nightmares that we've dealt with, which costs more money than the dollars that you really lose. Like bad PR is the worst. And we just can't stop finding ourselves in PR nightmare situations.
It's gonna be okay. We're gonna get family together. I'm gonna let you get back to your family, but I appreciate you coming on for sure.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna see you later on. Actually, we're gonna be together when this drops. We're gonna be together anyway, so it's gonna be all good. But I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me on. Y'all, they say let's get canceled. I don't really want to be canceled, but I'm with it. It's my guy.
Exactly. We gonna get canceled.
So we gotta get canceled. We get canceled together.
Solidarity, baby. All right, man. Love you. Appreciate it.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right.
What up? It's your boy Big Tech Dog, your favorite friendly, lovable loudmouth. I'm the co-host of the Let's Get Canceled podcast. Listen, man, We appreciate everything that you've done for us so far, all right? Y'all have been rocking with us from the beginning. Even in this short period of time, man, y'all have been right there with us. But now it's time to take it to the next level, all right? If you like what you're seeing right now and you want to see more content like this, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the bell notification in YouTube so you get notified every time we go live. And share this on your social media platform. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Anywhere that you catch us, make sure that you share it with your followers, all right? We appreciate you. Peace.
All right, like we said, we appreciate Ashley for coming on with us. You know what I'm saying? Had to have that discussion. It had to be said, and I still don't want to have any ill will towards the AD at FAMU. However, there's some things that we're gonna circle back to that at the end of this fiscal year. Make sure all of our numbers add up. Make sure everything's happening properly. But Tech,
yeah,
we're gonna sprinkle a little game on these people, like we told them. Every episode, we're gonna give you a little bit of the game. And jumping back into last week's show, our last episode, there was a comment left for you.
It was for me, and you know what?
It was just for you. So I'm gonna let you respond, and then I'm gonna come back and give my little sprinkle of the game, and mine's gonna be for the younger generation. So y'all just go ahead and y'all wait on that. But yeah, go ahead and answer your question, bro.
So listen, this person called us on YouTube, and first of all, I'm gonna be real. Thank you so much for engaging with us on YouTube and for the follow and for the like. She was very respectful, but
hold on. But she said I was right?
Nigga, don't nobody care about that.
All right. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna read the message in its entirety. I'm gonna read it.
Okay.
Her comment was, "Great show, and thank you for having these conversations. You're very welcome. I have a question about a point that was made in the first quarter of the show. Tech disagreed with Thommy about men bringing something to the table. I understand where Tech is coming from. However, at what age did you meet your wife? I believe there's a big difference between approaching someone without much when we're young and when we are older." Now, again, like I said, that was from Ever Tried Plant-Based. So I think a couple things, Miss Ever Tried Plant-Based. Number one, maybe you should try some meat so you can get your comments a little bit better. All right, so let me tell you like this. No, I'm messing with you. I mean, I'm serious. Meat, come on. But that was just a jokey joke. But listen, and the part of the conversation I think she was talking about was you and I were going back and forth, and I believe I was talking about the fact that when I met my wife, you know what I'm saying, I didn't have much or nothing. You know what I'm saying? And she's saying that we were much younger, and there's a difference between a young man. Now, granted, I met my wife. I think we got married, got together when I was maybe 21, 22, somewhere in there. Maybe a little younger, maybe not definitely not older. So it was between 20 and 22. Let's say that, all right? Yeah, I'd have to sit down and do some math to figure that out. I'm not supposed to know that. No, I'm supposed to know. I know how long we've been married. That's the one I focused on. But yeah, so after that, it's like, okay, cool. Now, my response to her, and and this is my true response. Where'd it go? Because she was kind enough to talk to us, but my response pretty much is, yeah, I understand that. But if the roles were reversed, and this was a woman who wasn't bringing nothing to the table, would you still be saying that same thing? If it was, and this is speaking from, if you want to get into gender roles, because we touched on the gender roles thing, and y'all didn't have nothing to say about that. And then but now, okay, so if we're gonna stick with the gender roles, then fine. That means that you get, and he needs to be building and do. But where's the age limit? Where's the cutoff? What's the number? So at 21 it's okay, and is it still okay at 25? What about 30? What about 35? Okay, so 35 is too old, but 30 is not. So what about 32? Like, where is the cutoff? Where's the line? So, and if you're looking at pockets only, then I think we have a bigger problem. And you said, sir, Thommy with an H said that if she's wondering what you bringing to the table and not talking about what she's bringing to the table or whatever, however you said it, it was, that's not the one that you need to be. Okay, then. So if that's the case, then why are we worried about what he's making?
And that's why when you said, well, if it was a woman, would we be saying the same thing? And that's where I was going to get you, because my initial statement was, if she has nothing, why are dudes even looking at her?
Right.
Because that's always been the standard. If he doesn't have this, if he doesn't have men, if she does not have her life in, if she can't take care of herself, you don't need her. That was my initial statement. If she can't care for herself.
But look what she said. She's not talking about that. She's talking about, well, it was strictly at the dudes. It was strictly, oh, well, if he's at a certain, if you're young, that's what. But however, I believe there's a big difference. Whatever.
But Tech, as a man, as a man,
right?
As a man, if you can't take care of yourself, you don't deserve no coochie.
I agree.
That's to me. If you can't support yourself, the last thing you need to be worried about is getting laid.
Listen to what I'm saying to you, though. Number one, the only reason I agree with that statement is because doing that could possibly produce a child that you can't take care of. Like, let's be real. I don't care how much you strap up, how much she says she on birth control. It don't matter. But that being said, I think everybody deserves coochie. I really do.
Everybody don't deserve no coochie. Man.
Everybody deserves something. But anyway. But my problem is the goalpost moving. Y'all don't get to say that women are independent and women can do anything and women are this and that, and then say, but he can't provide for you. He can't do this for you. Wait a minute now. Which one is it? Which one is it? You don't get to argue from both sides of the conversation.
I'm about to, because here's my thing. If women stop fucking broke niggas, it wouldn't be no more broke niggas.
Say that again.
Everything niggas do is for coochie. Nigga, we wouldn't get haircuts if it wasn't for bras. We wouldn't wash our ass for real if it wasn't for women, because everything that guys do is for coochie. So there wouldn't be no more gangsters if they stop giving gangsters coochie.
Wait. You stepping on another topic now. You stepping on another subject now.
I am, but it all comes back to these women are the cause of these broke niggas approaching them.
Yes.
Because it's worked.
Yes.
But then you can't. Guys, but you don't get so let me circle it back to the guys again. If you stop giving these broke hoes dick, maybe they'll stop being broke hoes. Or they'll just be lesbians.
My nigga. I like that. That was dope. That was Yeah.
But that's where my initial statement came from. It's just one of those things where if she ain't got shit, why the hell are you dealing with her? And
I agree with that, but see, here's the thing. This is where I think my problem is coming in, bro. Like, the problem is that because I'm conflicted, I believe that a man should be a man at all times. Period, point blank, in the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a problem with the fact that I get demonized as a chauvinist for having these traditional values when it comes to what men should do and what women should do. You understand what I'm saying? And so what ends up happening is, because I believe that a man should do everything in his power to work and provide for his family.
Yes.
Then I'm okay there until I start talking about what women should do, and then I'm a chauvinist. But women as a whole can say, I need a man. A man's got to be able to do this, got to do that, got to do this, got to do that, and they can give all the rules and get to argue from that side. But then when one man doesn't do this part over here, when he's not the provider or he's not got his stuff together, now he's less of a man from all parties, from men and women.
Right.
But the moment he's upwardly mobile and he's making a certain amount of money and he's moving in certain circles, then the woman over here who is not, and he won't give her the time of day. Now all of a sudden, well, he just threw away his women. The black woman got thrown away, and this one got pushed to the side, and he's just looking for somebody up there. What was he? Come on, bro. You don't get to argue from both sides of that. That's not fair. It's not fair.
Gainfully employed.
You don't get to not be in a position, and you looking at a dude to be able to attain him, and he's in that position, but you're not willing to switch roles and switch positions, rather, not roles, switch positions, and look at a man who's not where you are and go, you know what, but I see something in him, and this is what we're getting ready to do. That doesn't make sense to me. That's just dumb.
Right. Because, like we discussed on an earlier episode with the melanin mindset, they say they don't want to have to put a man together. They say they're not Bob the Builders over here. So
Right.
I understand the women not wanting to put in the work. I understand it. I don't agree with it, because if I work and you work and we can come together and work together, we can be so much better than me working over here and you working over here separate. Because that was always my thing. I'm like, these women are like, oh, you don't make enough. I'm like, well, you don't make enough either. But if we both put our funds together, we make enough.
Right.
And we can do some things. So if we come together if we can come together and no one's leaning on the other one entirely, well, not even say leaning, because we're going to both lean. But as long as no one's jumping on the other's back and saying, carry me, then you can get so much further if you just, hey, you bring yours, I bring mine, we put it together, and now we've got enough to do any and everything we want to do, as opposed to you ain't got it, so nah.
Well, I'm going to float this question right here for anybody who wants to make a comment on it. My question is, tell me what's the number. What is the number? What is it? Is it an age? Is it a financial number? Does he have to make over this amount? What's the number? Because if, like, for instance, right? So if a guy's a painter, he's an artist, right? And he's working and he's peddling his paintings all over the place, and he's just making just enough money to just barely make it by check to check, or painting the painting, and he's just barely making it. Is he worth it? Is he worth it then? Or is he only worth it once one of those paintings sell for $1 million? Right? So if he gets $1 million for that painting and now he's worth it because he's got $1 million, tell me what the difference between you and a whore is. What's the difference between you and a prostitute? Did you not just take that and say, okay, he's not worth it until he can provide a certain amount of money for me? What's the difference? What makes you different? Now let's flip that around. What would you say about a man who wouldn't talk to you unless you were giving up the coaching? Guess what? Is he a trick? Oh, he could never. No, I'm not. I don't care how much you pay me. I'll never do. But I mean, let's be real. Because you're not even talking to him. You're not giving him no play, no rhythm, no nothing, because he has to make a certain amount of money. Now, if you're saying that it's a stability thing, I hear you. I don't agree with you, but I hear you. Because the problem is that nobody wants to work to build anything. You just want him to have it ready when you get there. And you know what the problem is if you would have acted right when you was 19, 20, 21, or even 25, 26, 27, you wouldn't be worried about trying to make sure a man has it all together at 35, 40, 45 years old. Because you were tricking back then. So now the dude's got to have everything together. I watched the video, and I don't know if you sent it to me or if I saw it somewhere else. It was just the dude was the dude said was like, so why talking to a group it was a podcast, I think, talking to a group of ladies, and the dude was like, well, I'm tired of women acting like they're the prize. And she was like, and is. Okay. And he was like, look, I know what I'm bringing to the bedroom. He's like, so just like you can close your legs, I can go home. And I was just like,
have I not told y'all forever even trade ain't no swindle? If you get in there, I get in there. Hey, we should both go home, bro. Hey,
yes, sir.
I shouldn't have to give you nothing extra. Well, I got to give you more than a nut. Why? Why I got to give you more than
But you
that? And
don't. But you
all
don't
you
have to
gave
give
me
me
is
nothing more than that. Come on, bro. Come
yeah.
on. Come
And
on.
that's all you can give me. But no, but I think more what they were talking about is when a woman's got her life in order, she
Right.
shouldn't have to go and drag a grown man across the finish line.
But we're not talking
Now
about dragging a grown man across the finish line. We're not talking about that at all. What I'm
that
talking about is the fact that I think everybody, male, female, or other, has the
look at you
the
being
prerogative.
inclusive.
Hey, I'm trying here. All right. I feel that everybody has the option to set their standards,
They do.
but what you don't get to do is act like your standards are right on your end. But if someone else has those same standards towards you, there's something else. If a man says, I don't want no woman who doesn't wear this type of clothes or doesn't conduct herself this way, all of a sudden he don't want a real woman, or he don't want, if a man has a weight limit on the woman that he wants to talk to, oh, he just, oh, he don't like real women. Okay, okay. But then you get to, I sound like a full punk if I'm like, oh, well, I'm struggling, but I'm, you know what I'm saying, I'm a grinder. I'm out there working, I'm hustling. Do not get this twisted. I'm not trying to save you non aspirational lazy niggas. Y'all can go to hell. Like real
Right,
talk.
right,
That's
right,
not, this ain't
right,
for you. This is for dudes who are like, you know what? I got a goal. I want to achieve this, but I know that I got to work down here and keep
right.
grinding this out. And this may take 2-3 years, or it may take 5-10 years. I don't know. Whatever it takes, though, they're gonna be grinding it out to try to get to this level. And this is a shout out to all the women who are willing to grind that out with them. If you're not one of those women, that's cool, but don't look down, don't talk down on dudes that
But here's
aren't
my
where
thing.
you want them to be.
Here's one of the things that I always have to understand. We can't expect everyone to be CEO
Right,
because somebody gotta work at the mid level.
right,
Somebody got to be there. And if you are only shooting for the CEO, you're gonna be by yourself a lot
yes, sir.
because there aren't but so many men and ain't but so many CEO level jobs. So somebody got to have that middle management job, and the middle management dude get with a middle management chick, and y'all can live that CEO life.
Yes, sir.
Y'all can do that as opposed to you don't work at all and you get you a CEO. Well, once the CEO looks back at you and realize what you bring to the table, it's going to be a hard fall for you. So for me, it's just hey, eat, make what you make, find somebody who loves you, but dudes, we got to raise our standards
Right.
in order for these women to join us. And women, you've been raising your standards for years, and what y'all created was a whole bunch of scammers. Y'all created a whole bunch of dope boys. Y'all created a whole
That's the
bunch of
truth.
niggas who out here doing whatever it takes to look like the baller, and then you end up mad because he done skeeted in you, done shot the club up, and now you're ruined. Now you're ruined. So that's there. But you did mention one thing that I do want to before we get out of here, because again, this is our sprinkling games segment.
And you
So
do get
what was
you
that
get in
again?
trouble for
Plant
not
based?
pushing back. You get in
Have
trouble
you
for not
tried
pushing
plant
back
based?
against me.
Huh?
You get in trouble for not pushing back against some of the stuff I say. So go ahead.
Oh, of course. I'm gonna be in trouble for that, and that's okay because it's gonna create dialogue, and that's all we're here for is for the dialogue, and these people they know they can always talk to you in the inbox
Yep.
in the comment sections wherever. We are not afraid to talk back, so we will. But when you mentioned if a guy says that he doesn't like someone of a certain weight, then
Mm-hmm.
he is deemed to be not liking real. So
Right.
for my game of this episode, my sprinkle of game for this episode before we get out of here, it's for the younger generation. So if you are show this to your son. Show this to your son. I'm gonna say maybe around 12 to 17 year olds. So if you don't have no kid, you know you got a nephew or some little kid in the neighborhood. This is for him. This is a little piece of game that's gonna help them out in the long run. So when you're looking at the little girls around your school, right? And this is something that I had to learn. Uh, don't go for the thick girl that's in your class right now. Because the thick girl that's in your class right now is going to end up being.
Hold on. Oh, oh my God. Oh my God.
No, I always get hit with this.
Hey, I changed it a little bit. Look, I changed it a little bit.
Oh, I see. This is my. You should have had one for your damn self a second ago. But anyway, as I go back, Hey, bros. Hey, look, man. That thick girl that you meet at 12 to 17, when she get about 30, 35, she ain't gonna be thick no more. She gonna be hey. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying.
Oh my
So
God.
when you're picking them when you're younger, get you one that's the little nerdy, little skinny girl that nobody's really looking at, ain't got nobody, because once she grows up, she turns into
She grows
that.
out. She grows
Yeah,
up and grows out.
she grows up. So little man, and I've told my little cousins this for the past probably, let me see how old buddy is now. So it had to be about 20 years now. And for the most part, he listened. For the most part, he listened. He's done pretty well. He's done way too fucking well. But he's done pretty well in this instance. But I'm just saying. So my little sprinkle of game right now is for the youth. It's when she's thick as a teenager.
You say
More than likely, bro. Hey, what the Red Fox character say on Harlem Nights? Be careful, quick, you fucking with a heavyweight.
oh my God. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Oh man.
I'm just saying. But
that's the greatest.
But again, hilarious. Hey, a BBW though, hey, ain't nothing wrong with them. Ain't nothing wrong with them at all. They are amaze balls, and salute to all of y'all out there who was thick in high school. I still love y'all. Because another homeboy of mine, my rest in peace to Moon Dog. That boy said some good
Shout
pussy
out
under
to
the
Moon.
bellies, boy. That nigga said some good pussy under them bellies, though, Tommy. Some good pussy under them bellies. Shout out my homeboy Top Rock, man. I love that dude right there.
Oh man.
And in my younger days, I had to go and lift a couple bellies up, boy, and he was not lying, bro.
Hey, listen, man. I want to say this. I want to say thank you very much to Ever Tried Plant Based for commenting on YouTube, man. We appreciate you. Like, thank y'all for engaging with us. Hey, listen, man. We need more people. We trying to expand, and we want more of y'all to go ahead and make sure that you're watching and you're commenting.
Go to YouTube and hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit a goal. Go hit it right now.
Yes. Do that, man. We good. We love y'all. We gonna keep grinding, but yeah, buddy. If you have a problem with anything that was said tonight, anything that we said and you disagree, please, we will respond.
Don't call me.
He said, "Don't call."
Put it in the chat.
Let
the rest of the world talk to you.
Right. Don't be scared. Because we on camera giving you our opinion, so you scared to type your opinion on the joint? Come on.
Right. No,
but anyway, I'm gonna be good, man. I'm good. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be sweet.
Yeah.
All right, yo. So that's about enough of that, man. I'm over it. We over it for now. Y'all make sure that you drop your comments, agree, disagree, or other in the comments. We got a goal we're trying to reach, man. So go ahead and make sure you like, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification so you get notified every time the Let's Get Canceled podcast goes live or we drop a new video on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, man. Follow us on all platforms. Hey, big shout out again to Custom Journey for these wonderful t-shirts, man. We're going to drop 20 of them. 20. So if you want a shirt, let us know in any one of our social media platforms, in the comments or the DM. Let us know exactly what size you want. Only the first 20, and we'll give you the price for those t-shirts. Make sure that you give us your color, your size, and the first 20 will be shooting y'all the information, and we'll ship those to you from the Let's Get Canceled podcast. All right, we appreciate y'all.
We appreciate
Another
y'all.
special thank you to our special guest.
Yeah, one time for Ashley. Hey, I definitely appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna see you the weekend, and we're gonna turn up down Miami. So yeah. So cousin,
Yo,
we ain't been canceled yet, so I guess we gotta do this again.
I guess so. However, after this one, I'm not sure if we're gonna be canceled anyway. So it's all
Hey,
good.
we'll know about sometime Monday morning.
Yeah, buddy. All right, man. Hey, love you, boy.
Love you too, man. Y'all be good. Love
Yo,
y'all.
peace. Be easy.
Right? Let's go through this FAMU committee. Shantae Friday Stroud, PhD, Vice President, University of Advancement, Executive Director, FAMU Foundation, and School of Business and Industry Dean. I think she might be qualified. Selvin Cobb, Routledge Booster President. He's currently on it right now. Thomas Dortch, member FAMU Board of Trustees. He might be qualified. Ken Neighbors, FAMU Foundation Board member. Maybe. Eddie Jackson, President 220 Club. That's you might like him, might not. Kenesha Thomas, Faculty Senate Representative. You might not. Let's keep it going. Jamie Shute, baseball coach. Maybe. Joseph Long Name, Vice President of Audit. Maybe he might know something. Just maybe. Allison Watson, PhD, Dean of College of Education. Maybe she might know something. Now, these are the people, not on the football, not on the I want to find a football coach committee. Not that. No. This was the committee to find the AD. That's what you guys fail to this is what some of these Bamas fail to realize. So when people jump on Twitter, talk sideways, talking about this is misogyny. They're trying to bring a black woman down. They don't want to see her rise and give her a chance. There was 18 qualified. So now, when the same people with them same letters behind their name, they say, you know what? I don't think she's qualified. I don't want to put my name on that. I don't want to vote for her. Now they hating? Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not hate. It's misogyny. No, you know what? It's not misogyny. It's trying to bring a black woman down when we're telling you that 18 qualified people with a lot of letters behind their name said, you know what? She's not qualified.